Hi friends, welcome back. The module discusses about the teaching skills for classroom instruction. Micro teaching cycle and several micro teaching skills with their components are dealt in detail. The roles of micro teaching sessions in macro teaching classes are also discussed. The module gives a clear understanding that micro teaching should be conducted as a training technique for improving the teaching skills of the learners in all forms of teacher education courses. Micro teaching theory. Micro teaching is the method mainly applied in teacher training to improve teaching competencies. It is a method that enables the teacher trainees to practice a skill by teaching a short content to a small number of people for a short duration. It is an excellent way to build up skills and confidence in prospective teachers. Micro teaching was first introduced in Stanford University, USA in 1963. It was designed by D.W. Allen. It is a skill-based training technique. The technique is based on the perception that teaching is a complex skill which can be broken down to a set of simple skills. Teacher trainees are introduced to this wide repertoire of teaching skills and they have to master each skill through practice till they attain mastery and then move on to other. It is a tool for teacher preparation. Micro teaching is a scaled down teaching encounter in class size and class time. D.W. Allen. Micro teaching is a teacher education technique which allows teachers to apply clearly defined teaching skills to carefully prepared lessons in planned series of 5 to 10 minutes. It encounters with a small group of real students, often with an opportunity to observe the results on a videotape. M.B. Butch. Micro teaching is a system of controlled practice that makes it possible concentrate on specific teaching behavior and to practice under controlled condition. Allen and E. Micro teaching is a training technique which requires student teachers to teach a single concept using specified teaching skill to a small number of people in a short duration of time. B. K. Passy. Objectives of micro teaching: to enable teacher trainees to learn and assimilate new teaching skills under controlled conditions, to enable teacher trainees to gain confidence in teaching and to master a number of skills by dealing with a small group of peoples. Characteristics of micro teaching: it is scaled down teaching. It is less complex than regular teaching. It involves less number of students, usually 5 to 10. Its duration is short, about 5 to 10 minutes. Micro teaching phases: knowledge acquisition phase, observing the demonstration of the skill and analyzing it and discussing about the demonstration. Skill acquisition phase, preparing the micro lesson involving the skill and practicing the skill while teaching. Transfer phase, evaluating performance through feedback, replan, reteach and transfer of skill to actual classroom teaching in macro sessions. Micro teaching cycle: the classroom practice of the micro teaching session is illustrated in the form of a micro teaching cycle. The sequence of steps in micro teaching is planning, teaching, feedback, replanning, reteaching and refeedback. Planning: the student plans a short lesson for about 6 minutes for the development of a single skill. Teaching: real teaching encounter takes place for 6 minutes. Peer teachers sit as students. The teaching is observed by the class teacher or an expert in this procedure. The teaching process is recorded. Feedback: immediate feedback is given through comments from the teachers and peers about the class. The video recording is also analyzed. It takes about 6 minutes. Replanning. During replanning, the teacher trainee, with the help of his teacher and peers, replans the micro teaching session for correcting the mistakes in the teaching session. This is done in about 6 minutes. Reteaching. The teacher trainee teaches again as per the revised lesson plan and strategies for about 6 minutes. Refeedback. In this session, again the feedback is taken from the teachers and peers along with other media and assures that session was proper. The process of micro teaching is repeated till the trainee acquires the acquisition of the skill with as many number of replanning, reteaching and refeedback sessions. The total time required for a single micro teaching cycle is 36 minutes with one set of teach and reteach sessions. Micro teaching skills and its integration. Micro teaching skills. Teaching skill is a set of related overt behaviors of the teacher, verbal and non-verbal, which are observable, definable, measurable, demonstratable and refinable through practice. The teacher uses teaching skills in pre-instructional, instructional and post-instructional stages for achieving predetermined specific objectives. Passy 1976 defines teaching skill as a group of teaching acts or behaviors intended to facilitate people's learning directly or indirectly. Micro teaching skills. There are lots of skills identified in micro teaching. All these skills are not commonly employed in classrooms. The skills normally practiced in classrooms and are very important for educational setup are called as core teaching skills. They are skill of introducing a lesson, skill of explaining, skill of questioning, skill of stimulus variation, skill of reinforcement, skill of illustrating with examples, skill of using blackboard, skill of achieving closure. Discussion of some of the important skills and their components are given in detail. Skill of introducing a lesson. It requires a skill on the part of the teacher to introduce a lesson or a unit in such a way that it motivates the students to know more about the topic. It is the skill of a teacher to predispose people's mind to the lesson to be taught. A felt need must be created in the students. At the end of an effective introduction section, the teacher will be able to establish a cognitive and affective rapport with the people and the unit to be taught. The verbal and the non-verbal behaviors of the pupils are the clear specifications for the effectiveness of introducing the lesson. The components of skill of introducing a lesson are desirable behaviors, using previous knowledge, using appropriate devices, undesirable behaviors, lacking in continuity, uttering irrelevant statements. Desirable behaviors, using previous knowledge. The previous knowledge refers to the apperceptive mass of knowledge already possessed by the people. The new knowledge must be the continuation of the student's previous knowledge. Introducing a new lesson involves bringing the previous knowledge in them to the conscious level. Teachers must be aware of the previous knowledge that has to be possessed by particular age group and grade level for the particular topic to be introduced. Using appropriate devices. Using audio aids, video aids, audiovisual aids, analogy, questioning, storytelling, lecturing, narrating, illustrating, role playing, dramatization, experimentation, demonstration, etc. are some of the devices that can be used for introducing a lesson. Every device varies in effectiveness. Undesirable behaviors, lacking in continuity. This refers to the inability of a teacher in presenting a new idea by linking it with the relevant previous knowledge in a sequential manner. Here, the teacher's statements or questions will not be related to the preceding statements or questions. Uttering irrelevant statements or questions. The statements or questions which the teacher utters while introducing the lesson must be related to the aims of the lesson. Sometimes there may be continuity, but the questions and the statements uttered may be irrelevant to the aim of the lesson. If one is familiar with the topic introduced, it is not difficult to identify irregular statements and questions. Skill of explaining. Explaining is the most commonly used skill and is the essence of instruction. A teacher generally resorts to explanation when he feels that his pupils had not understood the idea that he conveyed. While explaining, he is describing why, what and how of something. It fills up the gap in students' understanding. This is done by relating a new phenomenon to some past experience. Thus, explanation involves giving antecedents to a consequent. The components of skill of explaining are: initial statement, for getting the attention of the people and for making students mentally ready for learning and giving some clear idea for the concept, the initial statement is important. Use of explaining links. Explaining links are the words or phrases which brings effectiveness of explanation. The use of the words like but, thus, as a result of, so that, next, after, in order to, etc. links the statements. Use of mediators. Presentation with the use of mediators make explanation lucid and meaningful to the learners. They may be in the form of examples, diagrams, anecdotes, etc. Use of concluding statements. These are the statements made at the end of explanation to summarize and conclude. The purpose is to present a consolidated picture of what has been explained. Questions to test people's understanding. In the course of explanation, questions are frequently asked which help the teacher to understand the strength of people's understanding. Skill of using blackboard. Blackboards are the visual aids widely used in education and training and are most suitable for giving holistic picture of a lesson. A good blackboard work brings clarity in perception and the concepts being taught and adds variety to the lesson. The components of the skill of blackboard writing are given below. Legibility. Legibility in handwriting draws the attention of the learners. The effectiveness of the concepts being introduced on the board through a clear and legible writing is high. The subcomponents for this skill are: distinct difference between letter spacing, appropriate use of capital and small letters, avoidance of overwriting, straightness of the lines and the size of the letters used. Utilization of space. The available space of the blackboard should be utilized properly. Teacher should have a gestalt view of the blackboard about how it appears when all the things are written on the board. Correctness of the blackboard work. While writing on the board, teacher should be careful about the correct spelling and grammar. She should not write anything wrong on the board. Overwriting should be avoided. Position of the teacher. The teacher at the time of writing should stand on one side of the board so that the writings on the board are visible to the learners. The position of the teacher should not be a hindrance for the learners to view the board. Contact with the pupils. The teacher at the time of writing should maintain eye contact with his learners. This is necessary for controlling interactions, maintaining discipline and sustaining attention of the learners. Blackboard summary. In order to make teaching effective or meaningful to the learners, the teacher should develop the blackboard summary at the end of the lesson. This should be so brief that each word can convey the entire meaning of the concept taught. Skill of illustrating with examples. Illustration is an aspect of teaching where the teacher uses different examples or different instances to clarify the concept of phenomenon. Here, the teacher uses specific examples to teach a point or a concept. The components of the skill of illustrating with examples are use of simple examples. The examples selected should be so simple that people could understand the purpose of that example in that particular context. Use of relevant examples. The examples used for illustrating must be so specific and relevant to the situation that there is no other better example to clarify that context. Use of interesting examples. The examples given by the teacher should be interesting. It should be familiar for the people to comprehend. Teachers must be able to correlate life situations in the classrooms. Use of adequate media for examples. The purposeful and effective utilization of any media in teaching is an important skill of the teacher which will enhance people's learning. Skill of questioning. A good teacher, through her meaningful questions, make people think and learn themselves. Questioning promotes involvement, initiates thinking, creates motivation and enhances learning. Fluency in posing questions after question and properly distributing them among students in the classroom are integral components of the skill of questioning. The components for skill of questioning are structuring of questions. The ways and means of approaching or formulating the question is an important aspect of questioning. There are some aspects which should be taken into consideration while formulating questions. They are conciseness, specificity, relevance, grammatical correctness and lucidity, clarity and brevity. The questions asked in the class should be clear and audible to all. It must be clear and brief without any unnecessary words. The words or terms which were not explained earlier must be avoided. The question must be related to the topic with specific and single answer and must not be repeated unnecessarily. Directing the question. Directing the questions in a class is important. At the beginning, the questions has to be put before the whole class. After giving enough time to comprehend it and think about the answer, call one by name and ask for answer. Through redirecting technique, student participation can be increased by posing same question to several people to gain response. Distributing the question. The questions are to be evenly distributed to the whole class. The distribution should be random, that everyone should expect the questions while the class is in progress. Ask divergent questions. The questions chosen by the teacher should be divergent in nature, which could explore the knowledge of the people in a particular area. Focusing. The question should focus on the relevant subject matter or the major content. Refocusing technique. The teacher relates the correct answer of a student with the topic already covered in the class, even if it is from a different subject. Prompting technique. Here, the teacher helps the people to answer a question himself. He does not give answer or make other people answer the questions, but provides clues or hints and leading questions. He will not discourage the people for his wrong response, but by means of systematic and step-by-step questioning, he will help the people to arrive at the correct response. Seeking further information technique. If the initial response of a student is not satisfactory, the teacher can ask the people to clarify or explain his response. The initial response can be modified to the expected level by asking additional questions. The teacher can ask for the rationale of his answer, which help to remove any misconceptions about the topic. Increasing critical awareness technique. the teacher asks the how and why of a completely correct or expected response. He asks the people to justify his response. As far as possible, the teacher must avoid yes or no type questions, as it encourages guesswork and do not promote deep thinking. Echo questions and rhetorical questions too should be avoided. The question asked must not be repeated unnecessarily. Unless necessary, student responses should not be repeated. Skill of reinforcement. The skill of reinforcement involves the use of positive reinforcers more and more and decreasing the use of negative reinforcers so that pupils participate to the maximum. Positive verbal. Students can be motivated through comments like good, well done, excellent, fine, etc. Positive gestural. A smile or a pleasing look or an exclamation will encourage people to participate actively in learning situations. Example, facial expressions. Proximity reinforcement. Here, teacher moves nearer to the student, recognizing his action as positive. Contact reinforcement. Contact reinforcement is done by patting the head, back, etc. Activity reinforcement. Teacher gives the students a task they prefer to do as reinforcement. Token reinforcement. The teacher awards marks, merit cards by writing comments like good, excellent, etc. Negative verbal reinforcement. Words like wrong, incorrect, no and sarcastic remarks can be considered as negative reinforcement. Negative gestural reinforcement. Disapproval without using words has the effect of negative reinforcement. Gestures such as frowning, staring, looking angrily, shaking the heads, nodding, etc. has the same effect. Negative verbal and gestural reinforcement should be avoided. Skill of stimulus variation. Stimulus variation is described as a deliberate change in the behavior of a teacher in order to sustain the attention of his learners throughout the lesson. The variation in the stimuli helps in avoiding monotony and in generating interest among students, which in turn makes learning effective. The components for skill of stimulus variation are teacher movements. Judicious and purposeful movements of a teacher in the class have wide significance in securing and sustaining people's attention. Teacher gestures. Gestures can be made by movement of head, hand and other parts of the body to direct attention, to emphasize importance and to explain emotions. Using gestures, the teacher can be more expressive and dynamic. Change in speech pattern. A sudden or radical change in tone, volume or speed of the teacher's speech is effective in drawing attention of the people. A sudden change in the pitch of the voice will make people's attention to the idea being told to them. Change in interaction style. The communication process going inside the classroom is termed as interaction. The three main styles of these interactions are given below. Teacher-class interaction. Teacher conveys and gets response from the class or group as a whole. People-people interaction. Teacher-people interaction. Here teacher communicates with an individual people. A teacher using any one of these styles continuously for a long time fails to sustain people's attention. In order to avoid this, she must deliberately change the interaction styles. Change in sensory focus. According to the demand of the topic, it becomes inevitable to shift the perception through senses. The different shifts can be from verbal to visual, from oral to oral visual, from visual to oral visual. Pausing. Pausing is a meaningful stop. It is a deliberate silence for approximately 3 seconds during a talk. It is regarded as quite effective in securing and sustaining people's attention. Skill of achieving closure. Achieving closure is similar to the stage known as recapitulation in Herbartian steps. It is a stage where new knowledge is associated with the old knowledge and the new knowledge acquired is applied in various situations. At this stage, teacher gets the opportunity to evaluate the extent of realization of the objectives and learning experience provided by her. For students, they will not be able to structure a meaningful cognitive whole of their learning without closure. The 4 components of the skill of achieving closure are: consolidation of the major points by the teacher or students, providing opportunities for the learners to apply the new knowledge to various situations, linking people's new knowledge with their previous knowledge, linking people's new knowledge with their future knowledge. Advantages of micro-teaching. Teacher trainees trained through micro-teaching are found to perform better than the ones trained by traditional methods. It helps to accomplish specific teacher competencies. The teaching practice gain a higher degree of organization because factors such as time, number of students, etc. could be controlled. Micro-teaching minimizes the complexity of normal classroom teaching. It helps to gain deeper knowledge due to feedback and replan, reteach cycles. It is more effective in modifying teacher behavior. It helps in developing important teaching skills. It provides many opportunities to trainees to build up desired patterns of behavior in a non-threatening setup. Limitations. It is skill oriented. Content is not given emphasis. It neglects integration of skills. Micro-teaching tends to reduce the creativity of teachers. It covers only a few specific skills. Requires competent and suitably trained teacher educators for its successful implementation. Too much fragmentation of skills is not considered convenient or practical for training. Its application to new teaching practices is limited. The list of skills is not exhaustive and does not apply to all subjects. Linked lesson. The effectiveness of micro-teaching is diminished if it is made as an isolated event. Having armed the teacher trainees with a battery of teaching sub-skills, the next stage is the integration of those sub-skills into major skill. A deliberate program for integration of sub-skills is called link practice or link lessons. Here, 2 or more skills are integrated and content is chosen so that a link lesson is prepared and it is practiced for about 15 to 20 minutes. The integration of teaching skills is characterized by the appropriateness of the use of skills integrated, adaptability to other situations, proper sequencing of the skills, optimum proportion of each skill in teaching and coordination of different elements involved in teaching. To conclude, let me quote Laurent A. Dallas: "Good teaching rests neither in accumulating a shelf full of knowledge nor in developing a repertoire of skills. In the end, good teaching lies in a willingness to attend and care for what happens in our students, ourselves and the space between us. Good teaching is a certain kind of stance. I think it is a stance of receptivity, of attunement, of listening." Before we attend the next unit, please try to answer the following questions. What is micro-teaching? Describe the characteristics of micro-teaching. What are the limitations of micro-teaching? What are the 3 important phases in micro-teaching? Good teaching rests neither in accumulating a shelf full of knowledge nor in developing a repertoire of skills. What else do we need as a teacher? Explain. For further reference, Essential of Educational Technology, Teaching Learning Innovations in Education by J.C. Agarwal, published by Vigos Publishing House Private Limited, New Delhi. Principles, Methods and Techniques of Teaching by J.C. Agarwal, Vikas Publishing House Private Limited, New Delhi. Micro Teaching, a description by D.W. Allen, School of Education, Stafford University. Towards a Theory of Instruction, J.S. Brunner, Harvard University Press, Cambridge. Hope you find this session informative. Thank you. Bye.